there's a lot of bad takes out there, horrible takes out there, right? And why do talking heads have some of the worst takes, right? You're supposed to be experienced. You're supposed to be knowledgeable. You're supposed to do your homework. You got your research. You got all these resources. Why y'all get these sorry ass takes at times, right? They call them freezing cold takes, right? Isn't that what it's called, the website? All right. I am guilty as well, so therefore I would like to talk through some freezing cold takes. Because there's a couple right now that I want to highlight, and they're interesting because they're not exactly as you will take them. On the surface, you would think one thing, but then it's counterintuitive what actually is going on here. So the first one is the Marcellus Acho, who got called out by, I guess, his former teammate. And it's not even, let me not say called out, because that's Acho's words. That's Acho's feelings. I saw some of the comments. If you do something in public, and I just had this conversation with my wife because she's on the Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm like, baby, when y'all beefing for the world. Y'all not beefing and like, oh, let me call you and text you and then go on the show and then act like everything is cool. Nah, we airing this out. Everything's for those cameras, right? Kind of like sports. Like I live my life publicly. I couldn't say, hey, coach, I'm balling out of control. And he's like, well, do it in the game so the world can see. You ain't got to tell me. You ain't got to hide. You ain't got to just do it in practice. Do it for the world. Your wins and losses are for the world's consumption, right? So in a public domain, like a talking head, you doing it for the world to consume. So when it doesn't go well, that ain't the world calling you out. That ain't your teammate calling you out. That's just the way it goes. Okay, so Acho has this sound talking about the Bears and what should they do with Justin Fields? Should they keep him? Should they let him go? Obviously, we know the situation, the number one overall pick. What you gonna do? You got that from Carolina. All of those things, right? Listen to Acho talk through it.
Easier to hit on one player in Caleb Williams than it is to hit on four players. Mm-hmm. If you're talking about trading that number one overall pick for all these other picks, now you got to hope that Marvin Harrison hit. Mm-hmm. Then you got to hope that the tackle you draft hit. Mm-hmm. Then you got to hope that the other pass rusher hit, as opposed to simply hoping that Caleb hits. Yeah. It's easier in my mind to simply hit on Caleb Williams than it is to pray that you hit on 3 or 4 other picks, not to mention you can always trade Justin Fields for a second or third round pick. So based upon that, why would you not say to yourself, wait, we've already got lucky. Yeah. We traded Bryce Young for Caleb Williams and DJ Moore, because that's what it came down to. Uh-huh. They traded that number one overall pick for DJ Moore, plus another first round pick who you can now use on Bryce Young. You got lucky. Yeah. By the grace of God, the Panthers were terrible. You got DJ, you got Caleb. For Bryce, take your money, go to the cashier, cash out. Yeah. Why would you not make that decision?
Because you. Okay. Now, Acho, they lit his ass up for this. And I was like, I know why they lit him up, because simply most people took it like this. You wouldn't want 4 picks. You only want 1 pick. Like, swinging at something 4 times is better than swinging at it 1 time. People just kept it at that level. And I give you that. 4 swings at anything is better than 1. Let's be real. But just remember this. That Acho, no matter how horrible that take sounded, let's be real, and he got crushed for it. It may sound like he had flawed logic. 4 is better than 1. But what he said is not a failed experience. Walk with me here. I was in San Diego the same year this happened. Same proposition, too. Michael Vick, number 1 overall pick for everybody's thoughts, consensus, and it actually happened. But we had that number 1 overall pick, San Diego, traded it down, right, to number 5. They swapped with us. Okay. They get Michael Vick. 1 swing, Michael Vick. Franchise changer, yeah? Hall of Famer? No. Guess what San Diego got? LaDainian Tomlinson. Franchise changer? Yeah. Hall of Famer? Yeah. Guess who else they got? Drew Brees. Franchise changer? Yeah. Hall of Famer? Yeah. Now, he did a lot more work in New Orleans, but point being, that's Drew Brees. Tim DeWhite came in that package as well, etc. It was real. So, one franchise gets a franchise changer and Michael Vick. Another franchise gets top 5 running back and a top 5 quarterback in NFL history with back-to-back picks. You wouldn't have done that if you just simply took Michael Vick. So for everybody who killed Acho, and I understand why y'all pulled the gun out, put it back. At least by experience. Not by logic, because you're right. Logically, it made no sense. But it actually does, because that logic landed in reality, and I lived through that experience just to give you one. Okay. Now remember, in the sports media game, you can do it like I do it, and I don't do it the best for this reason. Neat and round and logical and perfect sounding takes. I'm not saying I'd always do that, but I try to do that. Versus, man, don't even try and get it all the way right. Just get it so they all gonna pay attention to it. You know the difference. Somebody just saying something, you're like, what'd you say? Isn't that crazy? You could just be talking to somebody and having a normal conversation. Fine. You say something like, what? That's sports media. Listen to Colin Cowherd right now. Do just that.
Lamar Jackson's a project. He's not Sam Darnold. He's not Josh Rosen. You watched him last night. He's not even close. He's not even close.
Now, here's crazy part about this. Colin's already said, look, I'd rather be interesting at times than right. He actually had evidence to say what he just said about Lamar Jackson, which is he ain't good, he said in that moment. But now, listening to that and hearing that sound, look how illogical he sounds, right? So he actually had reality form his opinion, and it sounds illogical now. Whereas Acho actually was going with an experience, and then that made the logic sound crazy. Like, what? Ain't it wild out here in these streets? Acho like, yeah. I'm going to get 4. No. I'm going to just get this one. Everybody's like, no, get the 4. No, I'm going to get this 1. What are you talking about? So one has reality, and now it sounds crazy, right? And then one sounds crazy, but it's reality. Walk with me, y'all. It's crazy. 2 sides to every coin in this situation. So one actually had a point with the evidence, and one sounded ridiculous, and they both kind of land in the same place. Now Lamar Jackson going to be 2-time MVP, maybe Super Bowl champion, maybe Super Bowl MVP, but definitely going to be 2-time MVP. The same guy who's not better than who? Sam Darnold. Not better than who? Josh Rosen. God dang. That's how the game goes. So I have a ton of takes that I regret that you would know. The worst take I had was partly the Chiefs. I kept saying the Chiefs weren't going to be that great, have this dynasty. And, you know, we could still argue that. Is the Chiefs a dynasty? They won 2, right? I still say they're a little short of it, but who am I? I have 0. And also when I killed one of my coaches, and I didn't even mean to do it, I just was like, yo, we were playing in a circus one time. And they ran with it as they can run with it. But I was a young broadcaster at the time. I learned from that experience. But y'all feed me some of the worst takes you guys have heard. And even if it's a bad take, can you see the logic in it? Or do you see the experience and the reality in it? Break that down. Beat up some of those takes. All right, y'all. Coming up next on Never Shut Up, guess what we gonna do? What's up with that, dude? We're gonna funk up some comments and hit you with a Wiley, and then we out of here. Next on Never Shut Up on Brinks TV and Reach TV. Yeah. Y'all know y'all love this hoodie. Y'all love this hoodie.